Guys, welcome back to Money, Marriage, and Media. I'm Mike, and we are back with Lucky. Guys, I had to do a part two because I found some more high level conversation in this topic here. Why women don't want men who make 50K. We're jumping back in, but remember, 600 subscribers. That's the goal. That's what we're trying to do. Go ahead and subscribe now. Make sure you turn the notifications on and like the video. Let's go.
I'll like my woman say, hey, let me make you a plate. That's some smooth shit right there. You know what I'm saying? Most women don't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's just really thinking about the other person outside of who you are. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, let me what you need, whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then I reciprocate in kind. There's nothing about submission where you gotta do what I say or whatever. But if it's I have some goals, some ideas, you know what I'm saying? Listen to me, rock with me on it. You know what I'm saying? Think about what I'm trying to do, what we're trying to do. When I bring an idea to the table. Not to say that okay, you make X amount of money, then I should follow your lead on your investment ideas or business decisions. No, it should be 50-50. Hey, hear me out. You know what I'm saying? Because, once a person starts at one way, don't mean they're gonna be there.
It's another one of them popular YouTube terms, and every time you hear it, the definition change. 50-50 relationship. Guys, I promise that video is coming. We're gonna break down all those terms and stuff because it's getting ridiculous though. But let's keep going.
Forever. You know what I'm saying? They're always gonna level up. And it's the thing that you have to remember. It's just like that old Kanye song. He started from washing dishes, you know what I'm saying, till he gonna come on up. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of women miss that. Both come up, you know what I'm saying? I start out $42,000 a year. Hell, I don't make $42,000 a year. Hell no. Not at this age, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta take that, you better catch me on the front end. And most women don't do that. They don't on the front end. And then they be like, oh man,
But
that's
look,
right there. You know what I'm saying?
Lucky, that's why when you say, when people talk about dating potential, he is the epitome of dating potential. Like started out at 42. 42 is a distant memory. You feel me? And so it's
Here's the problem. Number one, women in today's society are not set up to pick the best. They're not. This is why fathers are so important to help with the mate selection process. But of course, women today, they don't want to. How do you say this without it being overly offensive? Younger women today have too much ego on them. They think they know everything. So, nah, I don't want my dad. I don't want him controlling me like that. I get to pick who I want. Okay. And then you pick wrong. And then, yeah, rabbit hole it goes. But I do want to clarify something because, again, we keep getting these statements about how much money he's making. And this gentleman, I can't see his name, but he basically shaming men who make $42,000 a year. But I already told you, the average man, there's a chance that he makes less than that. So for that gentleman, that's great. But what is the average man supposed to do with that situation? Again, this channel's for average men. I'm an average man myself. We need more of us speaking up. So what I'm gonna say to that is that income is irrelevant. Because again, licensed financial coach, I did that for 5 years. I can't tell you how many times I sat down with people who were making absorbent amount of money and they're still broke. By the way, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're broke. It doesn't matter how much money you're making. 90, 100, $150,000 a year. If you still living paycheck to paycheck, you're broke. We got to get past this thing about income because that's irrelevant. Too many times I've sat down with people and, well, look, let's just get into it.
it's not just about the salary, it's about the character and the drive and the ambition too. There are lots of other components other than just the salary. So yes, sometimes they
I agree.
people date the wrong thing. You date the wrong
The project and not the potential.
you dated the wrong project.
Well,
Some
you shouldn't.
projects
Wrong project.
Well, if I
Jeff
could,
Bezos was a project at some point.
well, if I could, you shouldn't be dating potential at all. I think you go in the wrong direction with that too. You should date trajectory. Potential is one thing, but you need to look at what this guy. Listen to what he wants to accomplish.
I like that.
Yeah.
Then you look
That
at
actually makes
ask him.
sense. I agree. He's right.
Ask him questions where you figure out what he's been doing in his life.
Hold on.
in the past, and also what is he doing actively doing right now to achieve said goal?
Bingo. Older men tend to. This is the type of questions that I would be asking the men or the boys that my daughter brings to me, because men have we can read through that. We don't care how fine he is, what kind of six pack he got. That stuff don't mean nothing to us. And you talking about marrying my daughter? Okay, well, we need to have serious conversations. Like, you ain't got to be fully built, because again, when do men reach their financial stride? That's after 40, closer to 50. So if you're in your 20s, we know you ain't making no money right now. You're not supposed to be. That thing, it takes time to build up assets. It's not a microwave. It's a slow burn, right? But as men, we can definitely, I like what he said about trajectory, because yeah, we can see trajectory, because this dude it's okay, dude, you've been working in the same warehouse for the last 5 years, and you make the same thing that you made 5 years ago. Okay, that sounds like a dead end job. You make enough money to support yourself, fantastic. Now, at that point, I'm not going to disqualify that guy. Me and my daughter going to have a serious conversation, though, because she need to know what she's signing up for. And in most cases, that might be fine, because you guys can, as long as they're willing to work together, they can still build a life. I'm hoping that we get to that part of the conversation, though, because if not, then this is just pointless. But
trajectory, yeah, what trajectory is he on?
That you're on to something, because everybody can have, I got ideas, goals, whatever, but you got to put a plan together.
Right.
So it's faith without works is dead, right?
More about that plan. That's what I said for every for young men specifically, right? You need a financial game plan as well as a career path, right? Because then, like I said, when you're not leading with money, when you're not leading with your wallet, when you want to lead with discipline, integrity, morals, and ethics, right? A woman is more than willing to work with you and help build a life. It's only when you start leading with your wallet and I got this good job and that's how you pulling the women in, then as soon as that job is gone, guess what's going to happen to the women? They out of here. And if you got married, you led with money and you got married, guess what else is out of here? Half your stuff. See how this stuff is important? This is why I say high level conversations, because we're literally talking about the beginning stages of that, to make sure that we're going to do the work in the beginning with the dime so that it pays off. And number one, it covers us in the beginning, covers us through the middle, and also covers us to make sure that we're ending this thing right with a legacy built. Let's go.
Put something into action. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure that you're actually putting in the steps to accomplish your goals. And if you see somebody who's in school, doing everything, you know what I'm saying, and trying to better themselves, that's what you're saying, man. It's just like, hey, you're on that trajectory. Right. Like, hey, I want to open up like 5 restaurants and this and that, but it's like, all right.
Have you been to a bank to see about a loan? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Right. No, I'm gonna work on this other thing, and okay, you just said you want to know about 5 restaurants, man. Why ain't you? Like, for me, right? I consider myself and my sister, we're just born lucky. We got the long end of the straw when it comes to potential. We're 2 people who are born who can literally have the potential to literally do whatever we want. Now, I've lived a very interesting life. Very interesting. I'm fortunate that way too. And I'm like, okay, now I'm done with that part because it's just too fucking dangerous. But now I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? And then like, okay, I'll start a business. I started the business. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm working on funding.
You already got something going when you need
right, and I'm working on starting the second business. I got the paperwork to fill out right there in my bedroom. It's like, I don't get this. I mean, if you're not actively doing something to achieve your goals, you're not serious.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say date trajectory. You can there's receipts to that.
And here's the other thing too, right? So I'm a huge proponent on financial literacy and all that stuff. Just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you have a lot of wealth. You know what I'm saying? You could make $200,000 and still live paycheck to paycheck.
That means you're broke.
Somebody can make $50,000 a year and stack in $300,000 in their 401k and know what to do with their money. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what you make.
There it is.
What you do with your funds. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people get caught up on, trying to catch up with the Joneses. I got this big house, big car, whatever, but broke as hell. Let them lose their job. They ain't got shit.
Yeah, in the industry, we call that because I'm not in it anymore, but we call that being house poor. Y'all went and bought the $500,000 home, but y'all can't afford to put no furniture in it. I see that a lot. On the lower end, you see this all the time in the hood. They got this apartment and ain't no furniture in it, and they sleeping on the floor. I'm telling you, we've got to start high-level conversations. We need more conversations. If we're going to talk about the financial aspects or combining incomes, then we need to have serious conversations about where's the plan. And guys, I'm going to put the earnest on you. You're supposed to have a plan before you get married, at least for your own life. Because again, a lot of times what needs to happen, I talked about this in the last video, how you can break down your finances for married people, right? Okay, because again, 100% of the guy's income goes to lifestyle and bills. 50% of the woman's income goes to lifestyle and bills. The other 50% goes to paying off debt, saving the emergency fund, and start saving for retirement. Then goes college education, right? But the whole point of that is the guy needs to have that plan in place before marriage. See, this is why I say, because this is going to help. Having the plan in place like that is going to help you avoid women who are, or it's going to avoid that scenario with you leading with your wallet. Why? Because you have a plan in place of what's going to happen with your finances. Now the woman doesn't have to make all this guesswork because she can see that, okay, well, this dude is actually moving towards something. He's about something. He's going somewhere. Because again, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, one of the ways that you can make yourself stand out, because most men don't do this, is that when you have a plan like that, that's the same thing as being overly ambitious. You're being super ambitious. Because now, like, ambition is is an ambiguous term. But now we got this on paper. And again, it goes to what I think his name was Mandrell was talking about. You have receipts because you've been following the plan. You can see where she can see where these boxes are ticked off. Let's keep going.
Right? But that's $42,000. They might sit there like, hey, well, let's keep on the advertisers. Why? Because they maxing out their 401k. They going to Roth IRA. They maxing out that. They making business moves. So by the time they 40, they hit $1 million and they good. They might be on a fire movement. You know what I'm saying? Financial independence, retire early. Maybe that's the reason why they're quote unquote cheap or whatever, or kind of cutting back.
Exactly. Now that is Akari, great point. When I sat down with people like that, oh, this is a dream client because they already have a budget. They just don't know what to do with their money. That's an easy scenario. I usually don't have to sit down that long with clients like that because they're already disciplined. Again, discipline. First letter, it's first word in the dime, right? But we need to focus in on, because that's, believe it or not, that's actually rare. You don't sit down with too many people like that. We need more of that. But I think that, because again, that's actually how you move the needle, as our community as a whole. But most of us are not there yet because we've got too much of, student loan debt, credit cards, car notes, and we basically got the big four: student loans, credit cards, car notes, and personal loans. We got too much of that. So that's why I always say that, half the woman's income needs to go to cleaning up that stuff. And the other part of this that's missing is that you guys should have this conversation before you get married. Because it's a great way for the men. It's a great way to vet women. You need to know what her financial status is before you get married. And I'm not talking about credit score because I don't tell you nothing. All that tell you is that women with great credit scores, you know what they're good at? Borrowing money, going deeper in debt, and lowering their net worth. Yeah. Can't tell you how many times I sat down with people and they got negative net worth. So that happens a lot in our community. But the whole point of this is that, unfortunately, this falls into the category of generational curses. And the sad part is that a lot of generational curses take a generation to break. So Akari is speaking on something that takes time to build. Your family might not be there yet. Your financial goal might be you just need to maintain life insurance so that your children will be when you die, your children will be a step ahead of where you were. They have a bigger, they're further down. The starting line has moved up. They're going to get a head start because they'll have something to build with. A lot of times we don't think about that. We just try and get it all done in one lifetime, and that's not realistic. Most people end up going broke because they keep trying to play what I call rich man game. I'm gonna make a video about that and we'll go more into depth in that. But the point is that a lot of times we're trying to do too much too fast. This goes back to how you can be house poor because you bought that big house, but you can't afford it though, because that's why you ain't got no furniture in it. You got to live within your means and build things slowly. I love the fact that he was talking about retirement plans, because retirement plans should come before assets, before you start accumulating assets. You got to have those things set up. And then paying off debt needs to come before that. So great conversation. I love it. Let's go.
You have to understand where folks are at in that situation. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of folks. I know doctors, medical doctors that were bankrupt. I know folks who made $70,000 a year that have $600,000 in their account. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter about the funds and the money. It's what you do with your money.
100%.
Hey, can you guys?
100%. That's why I keep saying that I don't care about how much money you making on your salary. That doesn't tell me anything. But literally 4 to 5 questions about your finances, I promise you I can break down any family finances. And a lot of times it's just tricks of the trade. It's a lot of times the people who you think are on it are not. A lot of times these people you think are doing good, they're doing good, they're actually broke. So this is why I say you need to sit down with a licensed professional and stop going off the advice of what your neighbor's doing or what your best friend did or what your uncle did, because most of them are broke. They just don't show it. But again, you ask the right questions, you can get that. That's a 3-minute conversation, and you can figure that stuff out. But we'll get more on that later. Let's keep going because I think we're about done here for this video.
All right, I want to get yours truly in here, and then Red Pill if he wants to add to that point.
I didn't answer the question.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you did it. Okay. So
Rude.
Are at 42. I forgot y'all. Okay.
Nah, I know what happened. The conversation got so good, you kind of got off track. Yeah, it happens.
You are at 42,000 or 50,000 a year. You want a woman in her submission. What does that look like, and what are you at that point needing from that particular woman to get through her head? Because a lot of times, women question. Submission. Oh my God, I'm not a slave for a man he needs to make enough money for me to be slaving. And then it's like, girl, you just used them up. So what would you say? What does that look like? Because you have women listening and stuff like that. Maybe they'll be okay with it if they heard from men. So what would you say?
Well, for starters, submission has nothing to do with slavery. Okay.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't mean you're a slave. For me, submission just
YouTube talking points. Well, I love them.
This means I have the final say. The final, as far as decision making, not arguments or whatever, but the final decision is mine. Now, me as the leader and head of household, it's my responsibility to hear you out, and we sit down and we discuss it. You know what I'm saying? And we weigh all options that we come up with. Right? So the person who says, okay, fine, this is what we're doing, that's the head of household. That's my job, my responsibility, not yours. And all the failures, I'll wear that on my shoulders, because ultimately I'm the one responsible for that, but you can't have your way and have you make the final decision, but then say, okay, no, when it doesn't work out, no, it's your fault, and point to the man. That's what I see. I've seen women do that. He ain't gonna be the final decision maker and blah 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 blah. I'm like, that's what it is. I have a role to play. Like, okay, if I'm making 40 grand, I'm not going to ask you for a submission. You're either going to give it to me or you're not. You know, if you don't want to give it to me, fine.
But
We'll go our separate ways.
real, I'll let everybody go before I defend. I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Okay, I see what you. I see
And
what
also, my likes is not adding up to the people watching.
Like the video.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Like this video.
Also, if I'm making 40 grand a year, if you want me to make more, okay, then you need to help me make more. Versus if you have a business mind, okay, give me some ideas. What kind of business can we start? I mean, how do we get into buying houses and renovating them and renting them out?
See, I got a little bit of pushback for that. Mainly because most of these businesses that people talk about starting, most of them are dead ends. What I mean by that is, it's not that they don't work. They do. But these a lot of these business ideas is what I call rich man game. They work when you're rich and you got excess income. See, when you average, no. You need to stick to getting out of debt, saving for retirement. After that, you do whatever you want to, you know. But most people, again, I talked about generational curses, right? Okay. Well, most of us are not in a position to where we need to be trying to start we don't need to be starting a rich man game. You need to get rich first. And it doesn't take a extravagant business in order to get there. Because again, income is only part of the story. Too many times, I'm going to keep saying this, too many times people got these high incomes and they live in paycheck to paycheck, which means you're broke. It's the same thing with these businesses out here. All these people keep starting these businesses and like, well, you got to start a business if you want to make money. I told y'all that I live in the great state of Georgia, and the average income for a man is 37. Average income for a woman is 25. And so entrepreneurship is filled with women who will get enticed into starting a business, and they all brag about it. And not all, but you guys know what I mean. They sitting there bragging about it. I got my own business and I'm making all this money. 25,000, somebody lying. This is not, no, because that 25,000 includes her business. Unless she's doing something illegal. But then why would you want to be with a woman who's doing illegal activities? You going down with her. So no, I'm sorry, but this is why I said that, we have to be mindful of generational curses. Now, does that mean that you can't go out there and make some extra income? No, you should do that. If you're in a situation where if you have a financial plan set up and that's one of the steps to reaching your goal, then go do that. But there are more profitable ways than starting in, I'm gonna go do real estate and I'm gonna start a business, all this other stuff. Y'all know what's out there, right? The reality is that I'm gonna give y'all some game here, because when you get approached by other people for these businesses ideas, you need to ask them, what does the average person make per year? Because a lot of times, it's less. It'd be more profitable for you to go deliver pizza on the weekends. Yeah, so you got to ask them, what does the average person make per year? Most of the extra businesses that you can do on a part-time basis that are going to lead to you getting rich and leaving your job and all that, most of them don't make $1,000 a month. How do I know that? Again, sat down with over 500 families. Everybody's always got the idea of, well, we're going to get rich doing this and doing that. Again, it doesn't take that many questions if you know what to ask about how you can break these businesses down and realize that, okay, did you know that this is what you're making per year doing this extra business? Most people don't. They just see the big checks and say, well, yeah, we're making all this money, not including how much money you spent to keep it going. But look, we're getting off topic here. Let's get back to it.
You know what I mean? What ideas do you have for making more money? You can't leave all of that on me. Then what are you here for? To clean up? I can do that myself.
To spend.
Right. You here to cook and clean? I can do that myself. And 9 times out of 10, I can cook better than you.
Okay.
You
sound like amen.
Yeah. So I don't need you.
I'm tired of eating your crunchy spaghetti.
Right. I don't need you to cook and clean. I need your mind. I need you know what I'm saying? I need your intellect. That's what I need you for. I need your ingenuity. Women spend most of the time with their heads in the clouds anyway. Give me some of that imagination. Come on, let's go.
Is this how y'all feel about it?
Yes, we all do. Except simps who get up here and lie to you. I'm not gonna lie. When we talk amongst ourselves, yes. These are the things we say.
Yeah. Okay. Grow me real. Okay, yours truly. Sorry. What would you say?
Guys, that was a drop the mic moment, especially that crunchy spaghetti. Look, I just made spaghetti for dinner too. That's crazy. But look, we go and get it. We go end it here, guys. Go check out Lucky's channel. She's having some high level conversations, and it's entertaining too, because clearly. But in summary, look, if we having conversations about finance, number one, salary doesn't mean it's not as important as you got a lot of these YouTubers make it out to be. You know, these relationship channels, it's not as important as they make it out to be. Number two, men, you need a financial game plan that's going to include your career path. Whatever that is, I don't care. But you need to have a plan because, again, we need to stop leading with our wallet and start leading with the dime, discipline, integrity, morals, and ethics, right? Number three, it doesn't matter how much money you make. What matters is, Brother Akari hit the nail on the head. It doesn't matter it's not as important as how much money you make. It's more important is what are you doing with your money, right? So, that's all I got on this one because I'm gonna start rambling in a few minutes because you can tell I'm passionate about this stuff. But I will say, ghost to the next time. Peace. Thanks for making it to the end of this video, but do me another favor, like and subscribe, but also check out these here. Either subscribe or watch videos, one or the other. I don't know which side, but hey, all right.